Hey guys, quick pre-episode announcement. We will be announcing later today the winner of that funky no-name German tobacco.
Delicious Fruit Loopy tobacco.
We'll announce that later today because we have yet to tabulate and draw the winner. So watch for that video that'll be posting later probably this evening.
Yeah.
All right. And
enjoy.
Let the show begin. Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.
Take 3.
Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingpastor.com.
And together, the three of us, Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Good to see you today. You're looking good. Good to see you today, boy.
Thanks. Am I looking good?
I know I'm looking good. Now, actually, I need to get my hair cut. I've had it, but because we're going to film a couple of these episodes today, I'm going to look this dumb in every episode.
We should get your hair cut between episodes, and
we should get my hair cut during an episode.
We should get it trimmed. We should get it trimmed and then film the episodes in reverse, so it looks like it's growing.
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. So let's get this thing started because I need to get some pipe in my pipe in my pipe hole. And so today we are going to be smoking Ault Park. Now, this is a tobacco blend that was sent to us by Brother Boontar and Sister Skipsy. Boonsky, as they're known. It is from Straus Tobacconist in Cincinnati, and also they're down in Kentucky as well. And do you recall some of the things Boontar was telling us about this? Because I do. I've been doing all the talking so far.
That's good. He mentioned that this was a blend already in existence. It was vanilla rum custard. And they were wanting to do some... It was
introduced for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, it was a limited edition. And they wanted to do caps, which is the
Cincinnati
area pipe smokers, which is a Cincinnati, Ohio club. That
meets in Kentucky.
To each their own, I guess.
It's an Ohio thing.
They approached the blend master,
Matt,
about they wanted to have some custom blends, and he said sure. And so they named it after a local park, a Cincinnati park, and it's one of their signature blends. And he said it's got a special spot at Straus, right?
Straus Tobacconist. Yeah. The special. I don't know. I'm assuming it's in one of their jars that they have there.
Yeah.
They got some big old cookie jars, glass jars that they keep their tobaccos in, and. Anyway, I don't think it's exclusive to CAPS members, but you ought to be a CAPS member if you're there anyway.
If you're in the area, sure.
But Ault Park, maybe we can get Brother Boontar to tell us more about Ault Park. They could visit it, actually, and tell us about it.
Well, and they said in their letter that we opened, that came in very fancy cursive that I couldn't read a few weeks ago, that they, if we ever visit, that they'll take us by there. So that would be cool.
So I'm looking around here for a lighter, and I'm realizing, why don't we also then transition into our first, our YABO. Maybe it's not the first one. We have a couple YABOs sitting back here, but I need to open a Bic lighter for this. And then we'll get this sucker lit.
And we have a couple of YABOs. He doesn't mean right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to do them both or do many of them in this. We'll do one in this episode, right?
Yeah. This whole time travel, planning ahead thing, first of all, it's neither of our strengths. So trying to plan for a couple of episodes in advance is taxing. And we don't do it the best, I imagine.
We would love
We're supporting the troops.
We would,
with
yes,
these
we are.
picks.
We would love to not have to do that.
Yeah.
It's just our schedules are tough to coordinate.
Right.
All right.
I gotta say, last time we purchased lighters, I was in charge of that acquisition and bought some cheapy, like Calico from the dollar store.
Calico. It's a really popular brand in Malaysia.
Yeah, you've probably heard of it. They were, I think, $3 for $1 at the dollar store. I mean, they create fire, so they're okay. But they did not do well last night. Some of you may have seen the video I posted, just me and some guys hanging out and smoking, and It was 37 degrees while we were out on the porch, and they were struggling in that temperature getting lit. And there's just a very noticeable difference in build quality between these two.
A genuine Bic.
A genuine Bic, and
pretty much anything else.
Huh.
First thing I always do with these Bics is I take off that childproof thing, because
Which childproof thing?
that little spring right there, you have to defeat that. You have to push it down when you flip it. Right? See that little leaf spring right there?
I thought that was part of the wheel. That's kind of stupid.
You got big old fat thumbs. You can strike that real easy, I guess. But after a while, that gets to irritate me. So I pull that off of all of mine.
Let's do that. We'll do that off camera.
All right. So the reason why we have Bics today is we picked up something the other day, ordered it on Amazon, I believe. And this actually leads to a little side conversation. I had somebody comment somewhere on social media negatively about YABOs. And their point was, can't you just open the dang package off camera and then show us what you got? We don't need you to prove to us that what you've purchased you got new. I thought, a little misunderstanding there of why I think most of us do YABOs. And I thought, let's take a minute to talk about this. First off, YABO is yet another box opening. And one big confusion that new folks on YouTube have is they'll post their first YABO and they'll wonder whether or not they should call it a YABO, because they've not done another. So how could this be yet another?
Well, isn't YABO a kind of a specific to the pipe community term too?
I've seen it. A few other groups do it as well now, but it's spreading. But yeah, within our community, it means that you're opening a package. Well, a box. A YABO would be a package. So, kind of rule of thumb
is that distinction necessary?
No, I don't think so. I really don't care.
Because
whether
what's
it's
the difference between a
YABO.
package and a? I mean, is this a package?
A box is a package, but not all packages
So
are boxes.
This would be a package.
Yeah. I don't care. I just call them YABOs. I did see somebody who opened up some Aristocob pipes and called it a Cabo. Kind of like that.
I called it ISIS, and I'm going to show you something.
Spell that.
ISIS. No, ISYS.
YS.
I'm going to show you something.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you something. Look at this lighter. Pretty lighter.
That's something when you're not actually opening the package, when you're following the advice of this other person and you're showing them something.
No.
Half of what we do on this channel is we show stuff, right? Because I love sharing things, tools, and stuff that I'm utilizing, and you like showing your gadgets. And rarely are those package openings or box openings. Anyway, but I digress. To me, the advantage of doing and viewing YABOs is I get to see the reaction of the person the first time they're experiencing the item. And if I sent something as a gift, if I gave you a gift, I wouldn't say, now wait until I leave the room before you open that.
Sure.
I want part of the enjoyment is to see the reaction, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's especially in the situation where someone has sent you something.
Yeah.
It's like
why not?
Waiting,
why
it's
not
like
share it?
Waiting until after the kids have opened all of the presents on Christmas morning to go out and see what they got. It's not about, in that instance, at least for me and in our family, it's not about the gift itself as much as it's about the joy of giving and the joy of getting to see make someone else happy with it. And so especially in circumstances where it's when you have sent something to someone else, it's nice to get to see their reaction to it. Their first reaction, unless it's a present face, because you never want to see present face. But otherwise,
well, to Seth's point, Christmas at the Markwood house, Christmas morning, it's a pretty long ordeal. It's not just every man for himself. Then what did you get? We take the time to kind of go around and open gifts one at a time to see what people get and to have time to talk about it. And kids will open the package. And anyway, so this is something that Seth saw, and he sent me a note somewhere. I don't know. What was that, a Boxer message or something?
I said, check this out. This looks really cool. And even though it's not specific to pipe smoking, I think that it's got uses for pipe smokers. And I said we should get one and talk about it on the show.
So I got two.
I'm always excited about.
So it is a lighter bro, and this is something that probably other people would get more use of this than me. There's certain applications, but what is this? It's a cozy for your Bic lighter.
Yeah,
it boils down to.
Among other things, it's got a bottle opener, so if you need that, knife, scissors. It fits Bic registered trademark lighters. It has a Phillips micro screwdriver. But when I saw the micro screwdriver on their site, I thought that would be great for if you have to. What are those? A lot of the tamps that you get have the tool for poking your tobacco.
It's a poker.
Thought it would be great for that. It's heat treated, hardened, and it has a keyring attachment.
All right, so there you go. It's got a scissor, spring loaded. This looks just like what you would find on a Swiss Army knife. It's got a flat blade, and I mean a flat blade knife. And theoretically, because the tip is flat, you can use that as a screwdriver. I don't see that being all that practical.
They say that.
But, yeah. But anyway, the poker for poking, the knife if you're going to scrape the carbon out of your bowl if you're smoking a briar pipe. I could see that being handy. And who couldn't use a pair of scissors?
Yeah.
Or is it a scissor?
You know,
anyway, this goes, fits into this. And I don't know, because this has got that shrink wrap on it, it may not fit. I think we're going to have
the sticker off.
Sorry, troops, we support you, but we're going to take the sticker off of here. It is shrink wrap.
You know that it's funny that you mentioned you're not sure how practical using that flat edge as a lighter or as a screwdriver would be. This episode practically writes itself. We didn't plan for this, but Dad has a tool that he swears. So we've talked about it before. The pocket monkey.
We're going here, are we?
We are. The pocket monkey. All right. He's got a pocket monkey, and and we've talked about it before. I think around Christmas or post Christmas, because it was a Christmas gift that he got, and the stupid pocket monkey. So it's cool. It's a cool little tool, multi-tool. But one of the things about it is on the packaging, as it's advertising the tools it has available, it mentions this list of a couple of things that you just want to call BS on.
I'm gonna whip out my pocket.
That's
monkey,
fine.
All right?
It's one of those things that you're like, okay, I could see maybe how you could use it for that, but clearly it's not intended for that. And so I've made such a stink about how I think it's BS when they say that it's designed. One of its applications is for opening oranges. And he swears to me up and down.
I've used this more for opening oranges than for anything else. But first, let's look at what it'll do. All right, the face is just purely for looking like a monkey.
And don't spend too much time on this because we've already talked about it.
It's a bottle opener. You can wrap your headphones, your earbuds on it. It's a little flat blade screwdriver. You can measure with it and so on and so on. But that little nubbin right there is the one for opening an orange. So, because we were going to talk about that, I brought along an orange, and this is a really sad-looking orange. And this is an old Tupperware orange opener. And the way this thing works is you kind of hook it right there, and then it pulls it tight against the fruit, and it scores just deep enough that you can get your fingers in and pull it off of the pith. Works really well. I've always liked these. My bride had to go out on eBay and buy some of these because they had been discontinued. So here's the pocket monkey and its little orange cutting nubbin. Right here. You put that right there and hook it. And then all I'm doing is just pulling it down. I'm not really putting any pressure against the orange at all here. And it just cuts. And the thing is, with that in my I carry a money clip. With it in my money clip, all right, you hook it right there, and you just pull it along. And it scores that to just the perfect
Now,
depth.
your hand is covered in orange juice, and then you got to clean that off before you put it back into your billfold. That's the way to do it.
It's a pocket monkey.
This works really well as a poker.
Anyway, that's my pocket monkey. I like it, and like I said, I've used it now a dozen or more times for opening oranges, and I've not used it for anything else. I've not opened a bottle. I've not tightened a nut. I've not used it as a phone stand. I've not measured anything. I've not tightened a screw or loosened a screw. But I have opened oranges with this, and it's hard to believe. If that's all this is, I obviously wouldn't carry an orange peeler around in my wallet because I don't have that much of a need for that.
And yet, you've opened, you said, about a dozen oranges.
Well, I do. I guess I open a lot of oranges.
Would you say that your orange consumption has grown?
It's gone up.
Pocket monkey, miracle worker.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Get a pocket monkey, you'll become an orange-eating machine.
It's good for your vitamin C. Or vitamin C. That one's for flanker tanker.
All right. So we talked about the lighters. We did the oranges. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Oranges. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to mention. In kind of honor of Ault Park and kind of brick and mortar tobacco shops. And we've talked before about going into some of those and shooting videos while there, and I think we covered that pretty well. But yesterday I had just a phenomenal customer service experience at our local brick and mortar, and
in our local brick and mortar is
the Pipe and Pint
in
Greensboro, North Carolina, and I did not go there to get tobacco. So they have a walk-in humidor. They sell tobacco, they sell pipes, but they also sell beers, and the beers that they sell are kind of off-brand.
Artesian and imports. And
yeah, we're going to pay $8 to $10 for a 20-ounce bottle.
I'm sorry, for one bottle?
For one bottle, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 20 to 24 ounce. So, I mean, it's, a taller glass bottle, but it's
wow.
They're fancy schmancy beers.
Ask me how much I've ever spent on beer.
How much have you ever spent on beer?
Don't think I've ever bought a beer.
No. So
I
$0.
guess I have no point of reference on this. I had no idea. Is that normal?
No. For that kind of beer, yeah.
I mean, if I walked into Harris Teeter, local drugstore chain, the Teat as we call it.
Grocery store.
Well, did I say drugstore?
You did.
Yeah, grocery store. What would I spend on an equivalent bottle of beer?
Well, it depends on what you're buying. You could buy a Corona the same size for $5, $4 or $5. So it's about the equivalent of 2 bottles, and depending on what you can get a 6-pack for anywhere between like $6 and the upper end like $13 for a 6-pack. So it's a third of that. But it's a fancy beer. It's usually they're done by smaller brewing companies, and they are just a matter of specialty.
What are their margins? What's their overhead?
I don't know. Imagine
they need some Chinese children like the people that make our shoes.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Okay, different point of reference. Tobacco, right?
That was a Flight of the Conchords reference.
Yeah, you're gonna pay more for a fancy smancy tobacco that's been aged longer and has been specially blended than you're going to than for the tobacco that you get at the packs at the drugstore.
Thanks for bringing it back to tobacco.
You're welcome. So anyway, I went in there. There's this beer that my brother-in-law and friend and I discovered that is just delicious. It's kind of like cherry-y. It's called Zombie Killer. It's made by a company B Nectar. And they've offered it on limited release. We first tried it 2 years ago at a local brew fest, a beer festival where you can just try a bunch of things. And that was good because we had no idea really what we liked and didn't like, and that helped. And so they didn't sell it locally. This brewing company came in, gave out samples to people in Greensboro, and then said, "Sorry, you can't buy it here." That wasn't cool. Well, then we found out that the Pipe and Pint started selling it, and so we would go there occasionally if we're buying, wanted a beer for a special occasion. And
you go and you buy a beer, or do you buy?
Yeah, usually, like I would buy a beer.
Okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not buying a 6-pack. I bought 3.
It's a tasting beer. That's not drinking beer.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Yeah, you're not gonna get drunk on it if that's your goal. But yeah, it's tasting. It's more like wine, or I don't know. There's a scale for all of that. So you got me all hamburgers. It's not.
I'm sorry.
This is think big burger
world,
spot.
a different
Think
world
big burger
from where
spot, not McDonald's.
Versus McDonald's.
Okay, right? So you go there on
I'm
occasion.
questioning you about this.
I know you're questioning the system.
Okay,
unique to you, right? So anyway, local brick and mortar, Pipe and Pint. They were the only place in town to get this beer. And I went there last night because my good friend got a new job, and I promised them zombie killers for Christmas anyway that I would get for them at a later time. And so to celebrate, I went ahead and got 3 of them. So it was an expensive trip, $30 for 3 beers. But it was a celebration. And so I asked the guy, I thanked him for carrying it.
Was it Pete or Larry?
It was Pete.
Okay.
And
Larry's the owner.
All right,
I don't know Pete. I don't know if Pete's got a stake in it, but Pete, incredibly knowledgeable guy, he knows his cigars. I'm assuming he knows his beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
Larry's my tobacco guy, though.
Gotcha.
My pipe tobacco guy.
All right, so first thing, I called him up just to see if they had any because I was unsure. Every time I go in there, I'm always expecting it to be the last bottle that they carry. And they said, yeah, we've got a couple of bottles left. I said, I need 3. And they said, okay, we'd be happy to set those aside. So first, Gold Star, they just through phone call, they set it aside. They asked, will you be here before closing to pick it up? I said, yes. I said, okay, we'd be happy to make sure we've got that for you. It's like, awesome. Customer service win number 1. Then I showed up, and he gave me the bad news. We are not going to be carrying this anymore. So why? Why are you not going to be carrying this?
You suddenly kick into slow motion at that moment?
I did. Well, like what happened last week in the replay, 2 weeks ago. I was crushed because if I can't buy it locally, I can't buy it from their website. There's no online. You can't ship beer like that. So I asked why. They said, well, it's not selling in the season as well. So, he could visibly see my disappointment. And he said, I'll tell you what. If this is something that you and your friends drink regularly, what I could do for you is we can still order it. I'm thinking, okay, great. So I can order like in bulk a $400 case, which I can't afford. And he said, so what we can do is if it's something that you're going to buy regularly, we'll order the case and we'll set it aside. And as you guys have need, you can come in and tell us to basically tap into your reserve that we've set aside for you and buy them a few bottles at a time. It's like, oh my goodness. So we'll if I didn't take them up on it yesterday, but if we take them up on it, we'll have a private reserve of Zombie Killer, which is just great news. But
that's awesome.
That is customer service just way beyond what I would ever expect.
Well,
and even
they've done that with me for tins of tobacco too. Some things that, for whatever reason, maybe due to lack of popularity, it just doesn't move. They'll get it for me, and why wouldn't they? I mean, they're in business, but a lot of companies don't, right?
Yeah.
You go to Walmart and ask them to get you something, a onesie of something.
Well, and there's risk involved to them for doing that too, because maybe they order it and then you don't ever show up. All right, so I mean that's a step that has potential risk for them, especially if it's an item that's not selling well in general.
Right.
But we talked. I talked with Dad about last night. Even the fact that they are willing to do that, if I never take them up on that offer, that's huge. I mean, that creates loyalty because, wow, they're willing to do that for me. I'm going to feel like I should give them business. And
so let's bring it on back to the group here. I like having a local brick and mortar. I also buy things online. Sometimes it just isn't possible for me to get to a brick and mortar during their hours. But I like that there is one, and so if I want it to remain there, I have to visit it, right? So, and the more you do, the more loyalty you get in return. So don't just go there. Go there and strike up a conversation.
Right.
Make sure that you become known. And you also had a conversation with them about the possibility of doing videos of some sort of collaborative video. I love that idea. I would love to get some people on here with us who know more about this, who have a professional knowledge of tobacco.
Yeah, that's
tap their brains a little bit.
That's another great point. I mean, well, he mentioned kind of parting what was going to be a parting request. Yeah, comment. He said, "Hey, do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, please like us on Facebook." And my response to that, because I know we are pretty socially minded and social media minded, and I know most of you guys are as well. I said, "Oh, just Facebook or Twitter? Do you guys have a Twitter, or you want Instagram, Foursquare, Google Plus? What's your jam? Can I Yelp? Well, I don't know. Where would you? He said, yeah, absolutely, all of it, any of it. I said, what about YouTube? So what about YouTube? I've got a YouTube channel. Got a YouTube channel I can mention you guys. What's your YouTube channel about? Oh, smoking. Oh, smoking what? Pipes? Oh, yeah, please. Please, yes, absolutely. So
we should talk about them sometime.
Yeah, we should.
We could work that into the conversation.
Here's what we should do. We should encourage everyone here to find a local brick and mortar that maybe they can make a connection with and have just a home base. To be honest, the only times I've ever been in there have been one or two times to smoke a cigar, and once or a couple of times to get this beer. And now, because I've made that connection with the people there, and I just, I feel now like I owe it to the local business to help support them a little bit more than just popping in once every 6 months.
You don't owe it to them, but at the same time, they've done what they can to earn that loyalty. I mean, again, I think
I don't feel like I have to.
Right,
there
have been a lot of conversations within the community on, do you owe it to? No, they owe it. They owe it to their public to provide service and quality products, and those cigars better be, better not split when you light them and all that jazz. But in return for that, a place like that's doing it right, we want them to be around. So anyway, Pipe and Pint in Greensboro. They don't do much online as far as being able to order things online. That's not their thing, right? They're not a big e-commerce company.
Doesn't have to be.
But we've been, like Seth said, we don't hang out there, even though they do have a lounge area that you can go.
I don't ever smoke anyway.
I have smoked my my pipe and a couple cigars there in the lounge, but the lounge is really a bit of a club. There's guys that have been going there forever, and they're there every single week, or multiple times a week. And I felt a little bit awkward back in the lounge because it's really their space,
Which you'll find at any local brick and mortar that especially doesn't have a huge space. Like when we go to JR's, there are people that are there.
If we didn't have the
constantly,
and if I didn't smoke in my van, if we had a family car or something like that, then I probably would be hanging out there more. I think most of the guys that are sitting there are guys who don't smoke at home or can't smoke at home. So that's their space. I love going there and talking to Larry and Pete. And like I said, they just know so much. Nice guys.
No.
So, and I'm sure there's a Larry and Pete in your neck of the woods too. Get to know them.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we wrap this up? We're going to shoot another couple videos here today, and I have more YABOs to share. I got a mother of all YABOs coming here in a little bit. That's a big statement. Yeah. It's a big, bold statement.
It is. I'm excited about it.
Okay. See you guys again next week, and I don't know. Visit us somewhere. Visit your local brick and mortar.
Ooh, visit mywieneryourmouth.com.
And we'll talk about that in the next video. See you guys.